In the shadowed heart of the Nine Realms, where the shimmering path of Bifrost stretches like a living rainbow across the dark void, two fates have been set on an inevitable collision course since the dawn of time. The legends of Asgard speak with awe and sorrow about the day this bridge, gateway to the gods and lifeline between worlds, became the arena for the most fateful battle of all, the final confrontation between Loki, the god of mischief and betrayal, and Heimdall, the ever-watchful guardian of Asgard. This is not merely the story of two adversaries meeting in combat. It is the unfolding of destiny, the last contest between order and chaos, loyalty and treachery, played out on the very edge of existence. Heimdall, the sentinel of the gods, stands as a solitary figure at the threshold of Asgard. Born of 9 mothers, all mighty daughters of the sea, Heimdall is not simply a watchman, but the living alarm of the divine realm. His eyes pierce the darkness for hundreds of leagues, seeing into every corner of the 9 realms, while his ears detect even the faintest stirrings, the whisper of grass growing, the gentle brush of wool upon a sheep's back. Unyielding, he never sleeps, never falters, for he is the final bulwark standing between Asgard and the chaos that ever presses in from beyond. In Heimdall's grip rests Hofund, a blade of peerless might, and at his side lies the Jarlar horn, the horn whose blast will one day signal the end of all things. His presence on Bifrost is both a warning and a promise. None shall pass unbidden, not mortal, not giant, not even another god, unless Heimdall wills it. His loyalty to Odin and to the order of Asgard is absolute, his sense of duty unbreakable. Quiet, stern, and resolute, Heimdall is the embodiment of vigilance, and none draw his ire more than those who would betray the trust of the gods. And yet, destiny has paired him with Loki, the slipperiest of all beings to ever walk the halls of Asgard. Loki's story is one of transformation and descent. At first, he was a boon companion to Odin, a cunning trickster whose cleverness often saved the gods from calamity. A shapeshifter of endless guile, Loki's pranks and schemes, though sometimes perilous, once seemed almost playful, a necessary element of chaos that kept the stolid order of the gods from becoming brittle. But the line between mischief and malice is thin, and Loki crossed it with catastrophic consequence. His role in the death of Balder, the beloved son of Odin, shattered the fragile trust that bound him to the gods. By tricking the blind god Höder into casting the fatal mistletoe, Loki turned from clever ally to loathed adversary. The gods' retribution was swift and savage. Loki was bound in chains, the entrails of his own son used as fetters, with a serpent suspended above him, its poison dripping relentlessly onto his face. Only the devotion of his wife Sigyn, who caught the venom in a bowl, offered him fleeting respite. Every time she turned away to empty the bowl, the poison seared Loki's flesh, sending shudders of agony through the earth, an eternal reminder of his fall and the price of betrayal. But the story does not end in chains. Prophecy speaks of Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, when all bonds shall be broken. Loki will escape his prison, leading an army of monsters and the dead against Asgard, bent on vengeance and destruction. No longer a mere trickster, Loki becomes the harbinger of doom, the adversary who turns the world upside down. Between Heimdall and Loki, the enmity is ancient and profound. Their opposition is not simply personal, but elemental. Heimdall, steadfast and honorable, exists to guard and preserve. Loki, ever-shifting and subversive, exists to test, to unsettle, to destroy. Their rivalry flares in stories old and new, none more telling than the theft of Brisingamen, Freyja's fabled necklace. In that tale, Loki, seeking mischief or perhaps something deeper, steals the necklace by slipping into the form of a seal. Heimdall, transforming likewise, pursues him into the surf. Their struggle is fierce and primal, ending only when Heimdall wrests the necklace back. The incident leaves scars on both, a grudge that festers and grows, culminating in the prophecy that at the world's end, they will be each other's doom. Thus, the stage is set. Ragnarok dawns with the blare of Gjallarhorn, Heimdall's warning echoing across worlds. The skies darken as the wolf Fenrir breaks his chains and devours the sun. The Midgard serpent writhes, poisoning the seas. The dead march from hell, and the giants, long held at bay, surge forth with fire and hate. At the prow of Naglfar, the ship of nails, Loki stands as captain, his eyes burning with ancient fury. Bifrost, the rainbow bridge, shudders beneath the weight of armies, its radiant light flickering. Heimdall stands alone at the threshold, sword in hand, his features carved from resolve. He has watched this moment approach for centuries, has lived each day in knowledge of his fate. His gaze locks with Loki's as the trickster approaches, the past and all its grudges boiling between them. The air hums with tension, with prophecy, with the certainty that neither shall leave this bridge alive. For a moment, all is still, the calm before the storm. Heimdall's voice, when it comes, is as cold and clear as the northern wind. You return not as kin, but as destroyer. I have guarded this threshold from all threats, but never has one wounded us from within as you have. Loki's lips curl in a mocking smile, but behind his eyes, old pain flickers. A home that binds and torments is no home at all. You call me destroyer. So be it. Today the cage will fall, and the gods will reap what they have sown. The clash is immediate, ferocious. Heimdall's sword gleams in the fractured light, cutting through illusions and shadow shapes as Loki darts and weaves, shifting from wolf to serpent to flame. Magic and steel collide, the bridge beneath them trembling with every blow. Heimdall's every movement is measured, precise, driven by duty and the weight of countless years. Loki's attacks are unpredictable, wild, fueled by a lifetime of resentment and the raw, chaotic energy of the end times. The struggle is not merely physical, but metaphysical, a contest of ideals. Heimdall seeks to preserve, to hold the line, to keep chaos at bay for just one moment longer. Loki seeks to break, to unravel, to bring the high and mighty crashing down. Each strike carries the force of their convictions, each feint and parry a reflection of their innermost selves. Around them, the battle for Asgard rages. The gods and their foes clash in a storm of blood and fire, the fate of the world hanging in the balance. But on Bifrost, all else fades away. There is only Heimdall and Loki, locked in a dance as old as time itself. At last, prophecy fulfills itself. In a final, desperate exchange, both combatants land fatal blows. Heimdall's sword pierces Loki's heart, even as Loki's dagger finds its mark. The two adversaries, their destinies intertwined, fall together upon the bridge, their blood mingling with the colors of Bifrost as the bridge itself shatters beneath them. Heimdall's death is a moment of profound loss. The Guardian's watch is ended, his vigilance extinguished. Asgard's last defense is gone, the gates flung open to ruin. Yet in his final moments, Heimdall has fulfilled his duty, standing fast until the very end, keeping chaos at bay long enough for the cycle of destruction and rebirth to run its course. Loki's death, too, is laden with meaning. For all his cunning, his rage, his desire to tear down the old order, he cannot escape the doom foretold. His end is not triumphant, but tragic. A reminder that in seeking vengeance, he has destroyed himself as surely as he has destroyed his enemies. The forces he unleashed have consumed him, leaving only the silence of the void. With their passing, Bifrost collapses. The bridge that once connected worlds dissolves into nothingness, severing the realms from one another. The universe is cast into darkness and chaos, the old order broken beyond repair. Yet even in this destruction, there is hope, for the old must fall before the new can rise. The battle between Heimdall and Loki is more than the sum of its parts. It is the clash of cosmic principles, the meeting of opposites that defines the rhythm of creation and destruction. Heimdall, steadfast and true, embodies the virtues of order, loyalty, and sacrifice. Loki, mercurial and defiant, stands for change, rebellion, and the necessary disruption of stagnant power. Their struggle is the engine of myth, the catalyst for transformation. From their conflict, lessons emerge. The dangers of betrayal, how those closest to us can wound most deeply, how the bonds of trust, once broken, can never be fully restored. The inevitability of fate, how even the gods, for all their power, cannot escape the destinies woven for them by the Norns. The courage to face one's end with honor, how both Heimdall and Loki, knowing their doom, meet it without flinching, embodying the spirit of the Vikings who told their stories. And finally, the promise of renewal. In the wake of Ragnarok, after the fires have burned and the floodwaters have receded, the world will be born anew. Survivors will emerge, the green earth will bloom again, and a new generation of gods will rise to rebuild what has been lost. The bridge will be mended, the realms reconnected, and the cycle of order and chaos will begin again. In the end, the tale of Heimdall and Loki on Bifrost is not simply a tragedy, but a reflection of the human condition. We all stand, in our own ways, at the threshold between what is and what could be, between the forces that hold us together and those that threaten to tear us apart. We all face choices between loyalty and rebellion, between safeguarding the old and embracing the new. And, like the gods, we are bound by fate. But within that fate, we find meaning, purpose, and the possibility of redemption. So remember the bridge of Bifrost, arching across the void, radiant and fragile. Remember Heimdall, the sentinel who watched unceasingly, and Loki, the trickster who dared to challenge the heavens. Their story echoes across the ages, a reminder that even in the darkest hour, there is the seed of new beginnings. As the legends say, after the world's end, a new sun will rise. The realms will reconnect. A new bridge will span the cosmos, and peace will settle where once there was only war. The memory of Heimdall and Loki will remain, a testament to the power of conflict to shape destiny, and to the hope that, from destruction, something beautiful can emerge. Let us carry their story forward, drawing from it the courage to face our own battles, the wisdom to guard what is precious, and the humility to accept that all things must change. For in the end, it is not the victory or defeat that matters most, but the struggle itself, the willingness to stand, to fight, and to hope, even in the face of the inevitable. And so the saga of Heimdall and Loki, the guardian and the trickster, the keeper of order and the herald of chaos, finds its place among the greatest tales ever told. May it inspire us to watch, to question, and, when the time comes, to meet our fates with open eyes and unyielding hearts.